Hey guys, how's it been? Today we're looking at 3 Overstable approach discs. The DGA Breaker. You guys might remember this from one of my last videos that I did when this came in real handy. Numbers are 3303. Really cool, low profile, really flat, beaded approach disc. Looking forward to testing that out some more. I'm gonna compare it to a couple classics. The Ricky Pig. This is the Pro Plastics. This is a softer, kind of more baseline-y plastic, but it's really nice plastic despite not being a traditional premium blend. It's got the grooved thumb. It's pretty flat. The thumb groove kind of has a very unique hand feel. We also have the Ricky Harp. Yeah, I didn't even realize we got 2 Ricky discs. Name a more iconic duo. Ricky Wysocki and Overstable Approach Tour Series discs. This is the trilogy plastic names. It's just unending confusion. I think this is Opto, but no, Westside's not Opto. VIP Ice, 4303. The Pig is also 4303. So a lot of similar discs here. We're just gonna test out a few holes here at Albert Oakland Park. Start actually on hole 6, which is a par 3, 323. It goes uphill then downhill. You probably won't be able to see the basket. Test all 3 of these guys, see how they fly. Breaker first. Pig. We got the Harp. Harp and the Pig landed almost directly next to each other, literally within like 3 feet of each other. The Breaker was like 40 feet to the right, about the same distance, so definitely right off the bat, Harp and Pig, a bit more stable than the Breaker. Hole 7 is a 300-foot par 3, water OB all to the right. I'm gonna try to throw these hard on the backhand. Breaker. Yeah, you can tell that one has some drift to the right before it fades hard. Pig. Yeah. Way less turn on that Pig compared to the Breaker. More dumpy, lower glide, and Harp. Yeah, no turn on that. That is extremely overstable. The Harp did not make it far at all. Probably only about 200 feet, whereas the Pig is probably 30 feet ahead of us, and then the Breaker got some good distance, probably a good 50 feet ahead of this guy. Late, only 160 feet, but all uphill. Probably gonna do a little bit of a flex with each of these guys. Backhand, Breaker. Pig. Harp. So the Breaker I definitely threw the flattest, and it just went pretty straight. Like, it definitely faded at the end, but it held way straighter than the other discs do. Whereas I got the Pig on a nice flex, and it's pretty much parked. It's like 3 feet away from the basket. And the Harp, still, that one is definitely the most dumpy. It came out so fast, big skip. Neither of the other 2 really skipped, but they're all inside circles, so they're all great for that kind of shot. The Breaker is really low profile, but it also has a really big bead, a very pronounced bead, whereas the Harp and the Pig do not have beads. So I think that's going to be a real make or break for a lot of people. Like, some people just really don't like beads. It has a very rounded edge, and I feel like it's kind of weird on the forehand where I kind of have to put my finger kind of like right between the bead and like the rest of the rim. And just with how rounded it is, it's not the most comfortable feeling, but it definitely has the most amount of turn, or rather it's really just straight. It doesn't really have turn. It does pan if you put it on Annie though. A little bit different than the other 2, still really good. The Pig is obviously the most unique. The Pig has the thumb groove, which I love. I power grip pretty much everything outside of putting, and I love being able to put my thumb with the power grip on the top, and it's really flat. I love the softer plastic, just feels great. It's probably my favorite just for, if I was gonna pick one for all of my backhand and forehand overstable approaches, Pig's probably my favorite out of these three, but the Harp's great too. I absolutely love this Harp. I love that it's a little bit deeper actually, which I feel like most people like for shallow discs for their zone type disc. And I actually like how deep the Harp is. It's like, you can tell that it's quite a bit deeper than the other two discs we're looking at today. But it feels really good in the power grip because it's deeper. I can really fit all my fingers underneath there really well. It's really, really overstable. I mean, obviously you can get these in different plastics that'll be less overstable. You can get it in a softer plastic like the Pig. You can do that for the Harp. I mean, the BT, whatever, the base plastic versions. But I really like this one, and it looks pretty sick too. So they're all great. I don't think I'd pick one over the other just yet. We're gonna throw a few more holes though, test these out in some different lines. So hole 9 is a 440-foot par 4. Starts out with a forehand through a tunnel, just to kind of get right as much as we can. And these just should be really good for that, so let's give it a try. The breaker. Yeah. That had some really good skip, and you can tell that breaker flips up just a little bit more. Like, it does have a teeny bit of turn compared to these other discs. So when you throw it hard on just a tiny bit of hyzer, it does flip up and get a little more distance potential than the other more overstable options. Pig. That one was also really like a really nice skip on that. And that was thrown on mostly hyzer and just carry that hyzer the whole way. Really like that flight. Harp. So that Harp I definitely didn't get a clean release on. You can see it flutter kind of at the beginning of the flight. And that flutter causes it to act a little more understable. So clean release probably is going to be more overstable and just resist that turn altogether. But it did still get some nice skip at the end. So you can tell how overstable it is despite a not clean release. A 30-foot difference from the Pig all the way down to the Harp, the breaker right in between. Me and that breaker just have a connection. I did not expect it to push all the way up on top of that cliff, but yeah, had some nice glide. Love that. Hole 10, par 3, 200-foot with OB just a little along of it in the creek. Breaker forehand. That is a beaut, absolute beaut. Pig. Oh, got lucky there. And Harp. Dang, I'm diming that limb. You're not be able to see this basket, but it's about 75 feet long of this middle tree right here. We're gonna try to do a backhand over the OB path, skip into circle 1. 225 feet, breaker. Yeah, I left that 2 inside. Adjustment time, Pig. There we go, skip. That's what I meant to do the first time. And Harp, hoping for a big skip on this one. Oh yeah, parked, love it. 16, 215-foot water carry. Let's try not to lose a disc today. Backhand, just straight at it and see what happens. Breaker. .30 long maybe. Let's go, Pig. Woo, yeah. Parked. That one definitely has a lot lower glide than the breaker. Start fading way, way earlier than the breaker. Harp. Woo, yeah. Yeah, so that's probably 30 feet left. Yeah, that Harp is definitely the most overstable of the three. So concluding thoughts on our 3 discs here. Flight-wise, they're all pretty similar, but the Breaker is definitely the least overstable. They're all, quite overstable. This is just the least of the overstable options. Go Breaker, Pig, then Harp from least to most overstable. As far as depth in the hand, the Harp is definitely the deepest. I like it for the backhand. I don't love the depth for the forehand, but that mostly depends on your grip. My grip is not great for the deep dish. The Pig feels a bit deeper than the Breaker, but that might be because of the groove on the top, which just when you put your hand on it, of course, it's gonna feel a little bit thicker, but actually from the flight plate on the bottom to the rim, it's not that deep, definitely shallower than the Harp. And the Breaker, it definitely is the most thin, but it has that big bead, which I think some people are gonna like the bead, some people not so much. It just depends, it all depends. I think my favorite of the 3 is the Breaker. I like how it's not as dumpy, like it's a little more workable for me. I think they have a little bit of different uses, despite their similarities, where these ones are not gonna turn or pan really at all if you get a clean release. Whereas the Breaker, you're gonna get a little more of that straighter and just a touch of turn. But I love all 3, and I could see myself bagging any 3 of these permanently. They're all great. If I had to order them, my favorite to least favorite, even though my opinion means nothing. Breaker is my favorite, followed by the Pig, because it feels really good backhand and forehand. And then the Harp, and even though I love the Harp on the backhand, that forehand just not in love with the forehand feel. I appreciate you guys watching till the end. Any questions, hit up the comments. I'll answer your comments. Go hit me up down below if you got any questions about these discs. Otherwise, happy holidays. I'm filming this on Christmas Eve. I'm ready for goth Christmas with my all black, and I hope you guys have a good one. See ya.